Now back to Off Topic on the Corus Radio Network.
Welcome back to another edition of Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. I'm JD.
I still remember that I'm Jonathan. And I'm Drew. And this week we're talking about a restaurant in France that actually seats you according to how you look. We'll also speak with Tina O'Connor. She's the author, professional organizer, and a success expert about how to just deal with stress-free holidays.
Do you say sex expert or success expert?
Success.
Oh,
okay.
both.
And we'll talk about smartphone etiquette. We've certainly covered this in various capacities, but new studies have come up, and we've got some interesting things to talk about there.
But first, we always like to start every show with a roundtable discussion of a few things that are on our minds. I'm taking this first. I was at the gym today, and I have to get this out. It really bothers me. There were two things at the gym that bothered me. Gym etiquette. Everyone knows, or you should know if you're at a gym, what you should and shouldn't do. So there's this big juice monkey guy. He was using one of the bench presses, and he put a couple of plates aside, so he had a really heavy weight on the bench press. But then he was going away and doing other exercises and leaving it loaded up.
I love how he talks about himself in the third person.
I kind of already tuned out.
Yeah. No, but this is the annoying thing. So I was watching from the bench I was working at, and this guy goes away for several minutes, and another guy comes up to use the bench. He looks around to see if anyone was using it. He doesn't see anybody. He waited literally like 4 or 5 minutes. I saw him look at his watch, and then he unloads the plates and starts working out. Well, then the juice monkey guy, the gorilla, comes back over and starts to try to intimidate the guy, saying, "Get off my bench. I was using this." And there were other benches available, and the guy said, "I waited here. No one was here." And he starts to give him a hard time. Then this juice monkey pulls the bar off the bench and throws it on the ground and says, "Get out of here. This is mine. I'm using it." That is completely rude. There was nothing there that was showing that it was in use.
Where's the staff when that's happening?
So here's my big question. I mean, first off, why are they letting a monkey in the gym and it can talk?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, no, this guy, he was muscles on muscles, and he was trying to intimidate the other guy. Well, thankfully, like I would have stepped in, but the guy didn't take the intimidation, and he made the guy go off and use a different bench. That wasn't the worst part. After my workout, I went to the change room, and as I'm walking into the change room, this guy, right as I turned the corner, he had the blow dryer. There's a communal blow dryer that you use to blow dry your hair. He was naked. He was like around 45, 50 years old. He was naked, and he was blow drying under his junk, and his butt was facing me as I walked in. That's what I saw as soon as I walked in the change room.
Why do you have to share stuff like that? I don't want to
round table. This bothers me.
I think you actually watched for way too long, too.
Yeah.
In what
10
world,
minutes later, I decided to look away.
Why would you
After
do
I put
that,
my phone
though?
away.
I like how you first clarified. The blow dryer is for drying your hair. And that's right away. I'm like, this story is not going to go up.
They didn't clarify what hair.
I also had an aggression situation pop up. I had my first Christmas battle royale with somebody at a store. I was going through a store, and I'm just looking for some stocking stuff for the family, because we do this thing where we each pick a name and you get a stocking for the other person. And so I'm going through, and I'm not an aggressive shopper. I sort of know kind of what I want, and I walk around, and I was going over, and it was a technology thing I was grabbing, and I was going over to grab this package off the shelf, and this person falls over themselves, basically knocking over this little display thing that's there, grabs the thing, puts their hand on it, and doesn't let go. And the person was nowhere around me when I walked up to it. And so now we both have our hand on it on either side, and it was like out of a movie. It was a face-off. And
What'd they say?
They're like, "That's mine." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" That's like the person trying to pull into your parking spot. I'm like, I was here. You were nowhere even around. And so the person said, "No, that is mine." And they snatch it away. And literally, like out of my dead claws, they like pulled it out of my hand.
Please tell me you did not let them get away with that.
This is a jingle all the way situation.
Well, no, like I'm not going to like get into. That's what amazes me, is that people want to get into fights over the most mundane thing. And I said to them, I mean, that's completely inappropriate.
I want to get into a fight over the way you just pronounced mundane. Mundane?
I'm getting so annoyed that I'm turning British.
Yes. No, I would not have let that person get away with it. So in the end, was there a bit of back and forth?
No, the person like literally took off in the other direction, and almost like the I got you sort of thing. And there was I was at Walmart, and the Walmart employee was right there and looked at me and was like, "Well, I have never seen that happen over." I think that it was like a $20 item that I was getting.
Was there another one though?
Yeah, they just went in the back and got another one for me.
Okay.
So that's why I don't get people how they just are so angry and stressed all the time.
JD, any anger on your side?
No anger, but I'll bring up something that was interesting that happened recently. Two things, actually. You guys were in a Bob Dylan video, which was pretty cool. Like, it was...
People are still talking about it.
Yeah, it looked like a TV show, and you could actually flip through channels, and everyone's singing the Bob Dylan song.
Yeah, like a Rolling Stone. I was blown away that I didn't realize that song, classic, probably one of his biggest hits, has never had a music video.
Yeah, no, and this was great. It was a completely new concept. I'd never seen anything like that, so that was cool.
Were you jealous?
Then, no, I wasn't jealous.
You were jealous.
Maybe a little bit. But the other thing was you guys were named by People magazine as two of the sexiest men alive for 2013.
Who did we bribe? Who did we bribe?
I believe you were higher up the list than Justin Timberlake and David Beckham.
Well, you know, I got to say, I mean, we've had a lot of people still posting about this through social media, but it's pretty close. People are posting about that and the Bob Dylan video. I mean, both are very amazing, flattering things to be a part of, but...
I said in a couple interviews, which I still stand by, I just think it was great that they also decided to include Drew. You know, it was a sweet gesture of theirs.
It's charity.
I'm the pity vote.
Did we have anything interesting come up through social media?
Yeah, a couple of questions, actually. This is one I want to hear from you guys. So one of our fans was asking us to share any interesting stories about bringing girlfriends home for the holidays, hanging out with the parents. You guys?
You realize that our parents listen to this show, and
still,
you bring up the uncomfortable subject matter.
I'll tell you one.
Well, it depends what you say, because I will tell you one, so just be careful.
All right, well, so it was, my parents lived in this small town. We were hanging out there for the holidays, and we knew a couple of people in town. This one girl brought her over, and we were hanging out a little bit. And, you know, I thought my parents...
Air quote.
Yeah, air quote. I thought my parents were in bed, but they were in bed. Everyone was. And so we were hanging out in the room and, you know, maybe started making out a little bit. Then all of a sudden... the door comes swinging open, and my dad's just standing there looking at us, and it's, you know, darkish in the room, but you see the silhouette of him at the door, and he says, "Drew, in the hall, now." So I came to the hall, my dad said, "You're too loud. Go to the TV room."
Yeah. The one part he forgets to mention is the fact that he did this in the room immediately next to my parents where they sleep. Why wouldn't you at least go down to the
I was 18.
basement?
I wasn't thinking.
Young and dumb.
Very dumb.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about a French restaurant that seats you according to how good looking you are.
Why did they put me in the back?
They put you in the bathroom.
Yeah. Anyway, don't forget to check us out on social media. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want. It's all the same. At Mr. Silver Scott for me, at Mr. Drew Scott for Drew, and of course at Mr. JD Scott. You're listening to Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
It's Off Topic on the Corus Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us today on Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. I'm Jonathan.
Je m'appelle Drew.
And I'm JD. And I'm not going to speak for myself, but you guys are fairly good-looking guys. And we're talking about a restaurant here in Paris that seats you according to how good-looking you are.
This is actually... like a policy of theirs, or there's just like secret bias that they put? Drew would be in a corner, for example.
Yeah, I'll be stuck in the dark corner. No, this is how they operate. I mean, I just think personally that I can't believe in today's day and age that they would do this, but if anywhere in the world they would do this, it would be Paris.
Oh, that is completely true, because if any of you have ever been to Paris, I'm just going to say there's a stereotype, and a lot of the people there fit it. They do not like tourists very much. They're not very pleasant to them.
See, I went to Paris last year. Drew, you were with me, and I had a blast. I walked around. I did find, because my French isn't as good as it used to be, that people didn't really want to communicate with me if I wasn't speaking French. However, I found everybody was fantastic. I had the best time when Drew and his girlfriend decided to go back to their hotel every night at 8 o'clock and start working on the computer. I just wandered around by myself and met people and strangers. And I did not encounter anything like this. They put me wherever I wanted to sit.
Because you're one of the pretty people. No, but honestly, I noticed it when I was in any of the restaurants. It's just a different way of living. I don't think they realize that they're being rude. They just are very blunt. And there was the one lady in a restaurant that when I was there, she was asking for a straw, but she was being a little bitchy about it, this American woman. And the waiter actually started mocking her in the restaurant. "You want a straw? I want a straw." It was actually quite entertaining from my side.
That would be annoying. But like I'm looking at the notes here about this restaurant, and it says here that the proprietor says ugly patrons don't deserve the seats in the center of the restaurant because it's bad for their image. That is coming from I guarantee you the owner of this restaurant is ugly.
Oh, definitely. But I also like how when they were called about this, a reporter called them, and they said, we have no comment because it's complicated.
I believe they said it was compliqué.
Well, maybe the reporter that called had a really ugly voice.
Who knows?
Yes.
Well, it says here that the employees also are held to the same standards. One of the hostesses, she does have a model physique. She's under 30, but it says here that she was told she's not showing enough of her breasts.
Oh, this sounds like a great place.
But actually, this sounds like any nightclub you go to in Canada or the U.S. I mean, you have the lineup, but if you're a good-looking person, they bypass you right through the lineup. And put
I
you to the
can
front.
guarantee you, if this restaurant was over here, there would be a few things.
Oh, it would be boycotted. You wouldn't be able to get through the door for people picketing it. I think it's obnoxious. I mean, and what exactly is beauty anyway? It's in the eye of the beholder. Somebody that is, my type is not your type, and vice versa. And so everyone has a different type. It frustrates me when people can get away with something as obnoxious.
Are you trying to imply something?
What do you mean?
That I have a specific type?
I do believe you have a type.
Yes.
I think I know what that type is.
Well, so, I mean, you guys, would you actually recommend, if this place had really good food, but you knew that they were shallow in this way, would you recommend this to friends?
Not at all.
No,
I would not.
Well, okay, let's try this. Would you go and try this restaurant to see what this whole thing is about?
If there were hot chicks that you could get a date with?
No, you know what? If it's well established and known that this is what they do, this is their practice, I would not go there because it kind of stands against all the things I believe in.
You know what I would actually do? I would try and find a property right next door that comes available. This is just the stuff that I would do. I would lease it, and I would open a restaurant that specifically talks about how you can be ugly, we'll take you. And
in fact,
just
you
stick
put
it
the
to them.
ugly people in the good seats so that it's showcasing ugly.
The attractive people are off in the corners?
Now, this is one, yeah, exactly. This is one thing I would consider doing. Go there one day, all dressed to the nines and looking suave, and then try come back at the next day, but, disheveled, bedhead, a little overgrown beard, 5 o'clock shadow, and see if they seat me differently.
Yeah, how would that make you feel if you're having a bad hair day and they change your section on you? Then
But I usually sit over here. Not anymore.
I think it's weird to me because how would you feel? Because a lot of people I don't think really know where they stand on the scale of 1 to 10. And so how would you feel if you go into this restaurant and all of a sudden they're like, you go to the toilet?
Well, maybe this place is the reality check.
Yeah, well, this guy who's the ugly owner who does this, you know what? I would walk in there, and then I would walk him to the corner and sit him over in the corner. How do you feel? But I think they're talking more about women. Honestly, it's like nightclubs when they want the beautiful women to come in because the beautiful women will draw the men. I bet it's that same mentality. Maybe the guys will put some good-looking guys here and there, but they really want to draw the crowds with good-looking women.
It's like the valet. When the valet leaves, like, the Viper and the Lamborghini up front and all of these cars, and then they put your Pinto in the back. I'm sorry, we lost it. I can't find it.
So are you saying JD's the Datsun?
What? The Datsun of the group? No, I don't know. It seems bizarre to me, and I think that it seems like one of those restaurants. They come out every now and then with restaurants that just have these wild, crazy themes. It gets so much press that people have to try it out. I don't think that this is a restaurant that will last very long. I give it a year tops, and then they're going to have to go under once the novelty dies down.
Oh, it says here it's been around for 35 years.
You're joking.
I just made that up.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Apparently
they definitely wouldn't keep the original people from 35 years ago.
The servers haven't changed.
I don't know. You guys tell us. Tell us if you've ever come across a restaurant that is bizarre or has a weird theme or something else. I mean, for me, I would probably go and check it out and see if this is just the press hyping it or if it is actually like this. But once I actually make a determination on it, I would not go back if that's actually their standpoint.
You still go even if they put you in the corner?
I'll go. I will sit in the corner. I'm going to request the corner. That's where I want to go. I'll be in good company.
Oh, no, sir. You don't want the corner.
All right. Well, when we return, we're going to talk about vacation. Wouldn't it be nice to have some more vacation days?
Without question. Canadians don't get enough vacation days. Be sure to tweet us your worst restaurant experiences. I'm Mr. J.D. Scott. Jonathan is Mr. Silver Scott. And Drew is Mr. Drew Scott.
We'll be back in a moment with Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
This is Off Topic on the Corus Radio Network.
Back on Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Drew.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm JD. We're talking about vacation. Canadians don't get nearly enough vacation, especially in comparison to their European counterparts.
Yeah, Expedia does an annual survey of the countries with the most vacations, how their workers feel, and they sort of analyze all of the details. The interesting thing is they found in France, where they get the most vacation days of anywhere in the world, they also had the most people say they feel they should have more vacation days.
90% of the French polled said they deserve more. Well, they get about a month or up to 6 weeks, some of them.
Yeah, which
Do you
is
really
good.
need more than that?
I think that that's a good thing that you get more vacation days. It's great for your, morale.
For your laziness?
No, I don't think it's laziness. It's just the way their society works. It's always been that way. We're used to working more and getting less days off over here.
I will fully admit, though, when I was over, actually many European countries, but particularly in France, I found it so annoying that they didn't really care about, rushing for your order. Like if I went into a restaurant and I said, I just have to eat pretty quickly because I've got a meeting, they don't care. They'll actually slow down.
Yeah, I noticed that. They will purposely slow down just to annoy you even more. Or the other thing I noticed when I was in France, you'll go up to a store. It says their hours on the door, but they're closed. They're not open.
Yeah.
They just decide to open and close when they want. But maybe that's because all of their employees are taking extra days off.
They're all on
staying
vacation.
Yeah, it's a work ethic thing. I think, I do think in our culture here, you can become a workaholic. Drew knows all about that. And we do tend to work a little too much, a little too long. It's harder to shut it off on the weekends, take your vacation time. But I mean, still in Canada, Canadians are getting 17 vacation days on average. I think that's what they said.
But it says that 60% of Canadians would rather have 30 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I can see. But I mean, looking in our group, at our production company, like we can rarely take our vacation days because we're so busy doing other things. So we kind of, I grab a day here and there when I can, but quite often I'll go the year and I can't take them all.
But when we realize that you haven't actually been getting paid.
I don't get paid at all, but I still take vacation days.
No, you are not allowed. But that's the thing. Over the holidays, everyone likes to take a couple of weeks, and then you might have a summer vacation where you take some. So I get, maybe getting up to that 3-4 weeks if you've been with a company for a while. But I know so many people who are brand new with a company, and in their first year, they feel that they should be entitled to have at least 3 weeks vacation. That's ridiculous.
There's that kind of philosophy, which I do believe in to some degree, that you should not live to work. You should work to live.
Yeah.
Well, and if you don't get enough days off, then you're basically just working your life away.
And you are more productive when you are rested. The problem is it's a fine balance because I feel like some people like to take advantage of that. Some people are just genuinely lazy. They're lazy people and they don't want to work. I like the fact that if I opt to work harder, then I can achieve more. I can do more things. And a lot of the opportunities that have opened up for me are because I have been willing to put in the extra hours.
And get fewer days off.
I do get fewer days off, yes.
But you know what? You work hard and it pays off. But yeah, you need to enjoy some of that downtime because it will refuel you for your uptime. It's the same in a day. People who aren't willing to take their lunch break, even if you just take 15 minutes here to recharge or go for a walk, it can help you in your workday. But look at the work ethic of Japanese people. In Japan, they're entitled to 18 days a year. However, the average employee only takes 7 of those days. And in South Korea, it's the same. They're entitled to 10, but most of them only take 7. So that goes to show a different work ethic than the 90% of the French who want to have 50 weeks a year off.
Well, even looking at Germany, it says 74% of of people surveyed in Germany would like more days off, but it's the same. Germany gets 5 weeks, basically, of time off. So,
well, looking at all these stats, is definitely the European ones have the higher. They're unhappy with how many days they got off, but they're already getting a lot more than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's just it doesn't seem to be balance with everything there.
JD, what would you say for you? Ideal number of vacation days, or how would you like to split it up?
I think that 3 to 4 weeks is actually a good number. I mean, that means that you were working, 11 out of 12 weeks a year.
Well, how would you split it up? Would you do like 2 over Christmas holiday?
Oh, yeah, I would. Throughout the year, I'd split it up. So maybe a week at the beginning of the year, a week in the middle, and a week at the end, something like that.
Yeah, see, the problem with me, well, actually, Drew, we're the same. We do actually, if you look at our raw contracts and stuff like that, we do actually have quite a few vacation days set up, and it's throughout the year. We have, 6 weeks in the summer, a couple weeks over Christmas, stuff like that. But inevitably, whenever our hiatuses come up, we book other press, we book other shows, we do other appearances. So in reality, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to actually look at it. We only get maybe max a couple weeks.
Well, no, I actually looked at the schedule yesterday, and I think Drew might have tomorrow off, but really, there was no days off for about 6 months.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, we're filming, starting in January, we have 4 shows on the go, plus the radio show. But my thing is that when I'm off from shooting, I'm in the office and we're prepping a production or we're doing something else with one of our companies. So it's not always the day off. Jonathan bugs me. I'm in Paris at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I'm taking a conference call. So I kind of do working vacations because, be honest, when you guys go away, if you went away for 2 weeks, are you afraid to come back to your computer?
A little bit. I say we just drop everything right now. Let's catch a flight to Bali.
All right, I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm booking it as we speak.
All right, perfect. Well, just as long as I'm allowed to go too.
Yeah. What about the rest of the show? We'll come back next week?
Yeah, if that's fine, we'll come back to it.
All right. Well, coming up, we're going to get into smartphone etiquette, including mistakes my brothers are making right now as we're having this conversation with their phones.
What am I doing?
I am not doing anything. Don't forget to hit us up on social media. Tell us about your vacation woes. I'm Mr. Drew Scott. JD is Mr. JD Scott, and Jonathan is Mr. Silver Scott.
We'll be right back with more Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
This is Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
Back again on Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. I'm JD.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Drew, and we're talking smartphone etiquette. We've discussed this in varying conversations before, but we've read a new study out there. It's from the University of Essex in England, and they've given us some
and
new.
They sound smart, so they must know what they're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, they say it with a British accent, so it has to be smart. But some interesting new stats.
Yeah. Plus, we've got some of our own experiences with smartphone. I'm going to call it fetiquette. Phone etiquette to add in as well. Some of the studies are quite interesting too. If you go through them, it's everything from etiquette when you're out dining, etiquette when you're driving, things like that, or just hanging out with people. But it says one of the biggest ones, 62% of people disapprove of you having your phone at the table, period, when you're eating a meal.
I can agree with that. I think that maybe that is the time to put your phone away.
I think it depends on the meal.
Exactly.
And we've said this before. If this is more of a, a casual meeting or it's not a date or something like that, I think it's fine to have your phone out because if it's a quick lunch, I'm catching up on emails while I'm eating.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, though, if you're going out with somebody maybe you haven't seen in a while, a friend, or even, a date, whatever, it is kind of rude to have
No, that is the case where, yes, I won't have my phone. But, if I'm just going for a quick bite with Drew or something and we're not on a date.
How rude. You want to use your phone when you're out with me?
Sometimes I do. But I do find it annoying when I'm at a restaurant and I see, two people sitting across from each other and looking at their phones when you have a human in front of you that you can communicate with. But that's not the only one, too.
That's when
Another
you text
one,
them directly.
88% of people disapprove of walking while texting.
Okay. I don't agree with that one.
Well, I kind of agree. I do it all the time. But when somebody does the no look, walk right onto the crosswalk, and they walk into traffic while texting without paying attention, you deserve to get hit. It'll teach you a lesson.
Do not mess with Drew. I have a trick.
I will speed up.
Maybe you guys want to learn my trick. This is my trick. I follow one of you guys when I'm text walking, but I did get in trouble one time because we were at the mall and I was following Drew and I was texting walking and I can sort of see him in my peripheral in front of me, so he's gonna walk into something first. It turns out he had turned off, and I was following some random dude that had a similar.
But I do that purposely. I know that Jonathan does that, and I actually did it once where we were walking along, and no fast cars coming or anything like that. But I did the walk over towards the parking lot, and then I kind of swerved off, and he kept going.
I don't remember who did it, but there was a commercial that it was for a major company.
Microsoft.
Was it Microsoft?
Yeah.
And all the people were doing with walk text and just bashing into stuff and falling down.
It was explaining that there's a world when you look up from your phone.
At the urinal.
But it shows at the urinal, yeah. It showed the guy fumble his phone into the urinal. But I've seen that. This is what grosses me out. It's bad enough when people don't hold on to it when they're at the urinal. But I saw a guy that was leaning on the wall with one hand and he was texting with his other hand.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
There's certain appendages that need to be held when you're doing certain things.
Apparently you have different standards than the average, though, because 71% of people say it's okay to text while you're in the bathroom.
But what if there's that creepy guy who's snapping pictures while he's in there?
You're not allowed to Snapchat at the urinal. That's bad.
Oh, I've seen have you seen the fail pictures where a person doesn't get the angle right and it shows that they're on the toilet?
Oh, no. That's not a good
awful.
one. I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and we brought this up because I saw it in a trailer for a movie, but this actually happens. Have you had anyone where they drop their phone in the toilet, and then they're trying to, dry it out so they can keep using it? They don't want to replace it, so they're sticking it in a bag of rice, and they're doing all of these things. Mm-hmm. One of my friend's roommates stuck it in the rice to dry it out, but hadn't washed it or anything, and then left the rice in the cupboard for people to use.
Ew.
That's
Disgusting.
so
Let me know who your friend is, and I'm not going to go over
that
there.
was me.
Yes, don't do that. What else? So they go through everything else here. You can look. 76% of people say it was okay to wait an hour to return a text message. What do you think of that? That's actually called, what is it called? Fubbing?
Fubbing, yeah.
Phone snubbing?
I do it all the time to you guys.
No, you don't. Well, we're pretty good. We're pretty fast back and forth. You quite often won't get my message, and then finally I'll have to call you and be like, dude, check your phone.
Yeah, but that depends. When I'm the quick guy, I will text back and email back. If I'm not, filming, or if I'm at the gym, a lot of times I don't have my phone on me. If I'm playing basketball or something, I don't have my phone, so I can't get back to you right away. But I'm usually pretty good.
Well, I know if I can't get Drew, I just text his girlfriend.
It's the thing that's frustrating for me is when you are in mid-conversation with somebody and they just disappear all of a sudden, and it happens. So I have a few friends. They do that constantly, and I've now just accepted the fact that they suck at communicating, and I actually do. I reach out less because I can't stand it when somebody. To me, it says you don't respect me enough as a friend to just answer me back or to say that something's come up.
Maybe that's their point.
Or
Or at least finish the conversation.
Yeah,
Well,
like
there is
I
an
annoying.
ending to things.
I say to somebody, I'm like, I have to run off, or I'm jumping back on set, or I'm doing something. I don't just leave them hanging.
That's really annoying, actually, when you're mid-conversation and then you're trying to get one last question and whatnot, and then they just never respond.
Yeah.
Even worse,
cut it
though, what if they snub you in person? It says 27% of people say that they would answer their phone even if they're engaged in a conversation with you. Have you had that where someone's like, hold on, and they answer their phone right in front of your face?
Yeah, and I'm not always offended by that. Sometimes it's okay. Like if it's a very casual situation, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is in a date situation, for example. If you're on a first date and then they're like, oh, hold on, and they pick up their phone. Oh, hey, Sally.
I actually,
probably a hint.
You know what? On a date, I don't think you should really take out your phone at all. Maybe when you go to the bathroom, you can have a quick check or.
Hold on a
whatever.
second. I got a text coming in.
Oh, you just got snubbed in person.
Hey,
So-
fubbed me.
So at work, yes, no, bad thing. I mean, as an employer, I would not want my employees constantly texting or Snapchatting all day because I know for myself how unproductive I can be.
Well, if you're away from the office, I mean, you're working on your cell phone, so that's one thing. If you're in the office and you have an office phone or your cell's forwarded for work calls to the office, I think that's fine.
I think that in this day and age, as an employer, you have to expect that people are going to be doing some stuff on their phone during the workday. But it just has to be a fine line. They have to know they can't overdo it. They have to.
Well, but it's the same like social media. I don't want people running social media while they're at work. That's not the time for it. That you do that at home on your own time. So if they're using their phone, social media via text, that's just as bad.
I actually think that smartphone etiquette should become something that's taught in school, just like finance.
No,
But,
it totally should be.
I mean, it's with everything in technology, smartphone etiquette will evolve and grow to become a normal part of
So you're encouraging
interaction.
kids to text at school. That's why you're not writing the curriculum. When we return, we're going to talk with Tina O'Connor. She's an author, professional organizer, and success expert. And she's just going to talk about how to have a stress-free holiday.
We got to take a short break, but be sure to hit us up on social media. I'm Mr. JD Scott, Drew is Mr. Drew Scott, and Jonathan is Mr. Silver Scott. And tell us your worst encounters with phone-obsessed individuals. We'll be right back with Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
Jonathan, get off your phone.
You're listening to Off Topic on the Corus Radio Network.
We're back on Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. I'm Drew.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm JD. We're joined on the phone by Tina O'Connor, author, professional organizer, and success expert, to talk to us about how to have a stress-free holiday.
Yeah, holidays are supposed to be the best time of the year. And they've already started playing the holiday music. Actually, they've been playing it for months now, depending on who you are. But I find that as soon as the family all gets together, what's supposed to be good cheer tends to, be more stress.
Chaotic when Jonathan's in the house.
It doesn't actually happen in our family. Our family, we get along quite well, but other families really get stressed out and they sort of bicker and argue. So, Tina, you were going to be the expert. You're going to tell us how to get the holidays organized and have everybody stress-free.
And it's really very simple to do, and it really comes down to you prioritizing what you want to get out of your Christmas holidays.
Alcohol.
Yeah, now you're talking. That just creates, all kinds of good times, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lubricant.
Well, it depends. If you're trying to create a holiday that you want to put on YouTube, then yes, feed it full of liquor.
Well, what do you think? What are some of the biggest issues that cause stress over the holiday?
Well, I think people put a ton of pressure on themselves to be to do everything, like to have that crazy, amazing Christmas tree, to have the outside and inside of their houses decorated to the nines, to put on like a Christmas party, a Christmas dinner, make sure everyone gets amazing gifts. You know, I think everyone just puts way too much pressure on themselves, instead of having fun and really looking at what the holiday should be, which is spending time with your family and giving. And it's not necessarily giving as far as gifts go necessarily. Maybe it's just giving some extra time to help someone out with something they need, or giving some extra food to the food bank, or giving some of your time, you know, donate it to someone else who needs it.
And I like that.
I think we need to focus on that more.
Or giving your brothers a hard time. All of these things.
We do that all year.
You see, I've come up with a perfect solution here. Over the holiday, my dad and I have it done right, because when it comes to decorating the tree, we let JD and my mom do all the decorating. We sit back and we sort of say, oh, you missed a spot here, missed a spot there. Well, we're, you know, sipping a drink and having some snacks.
They do their one token
ornament. And then we leave the cooking to Jonathan and my mom, and then we do the tasting, the taste testing. Everyone has their role. It's perfect.
And who does the dishes?
And that's teamwork right there. That's
my girlfriend.
A perfect blend of teamwork.
This is actually why I volunteer to cook over the holidays, is because I hate doing dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. So that is the one rule that I make everybody abide by, is if I'm cooking, I ain't cleaning.
You're not cleaning.
What's your tip though when you have a big family get together? You know, you have the in-laws over, your siblings. If you're, you know, some of them have kids, so the grandkids are there. How do you keep it stress-free when there are so many people under one house? So you can give only so much. It's going to get stressful.
Well, it's going to get stressful, but you got to have activities on the go. So if you've got lots of kids in the house, make sure you have like little tables set up with activities or games set up for the kids to keep them occupied, because kids get really bored, but so do adults. And it's hard, I guess, in a big group setting to try to find that right mingliness, especially if there's awkwardness with maybe divorced parents or whatever. If you set up different activities kind of throughout the house, and I love the board game idea, like set up doing Pictionary or some charades or something, or play Peter Paul, like get a game going. It really changes the environment.
Is mingliness a real word, or did you just make that up?
That's totally a word.
I'm looking it up.
It is now.
We do have the ultimate game collection. We've got every board game known to man, all the ones that we enjoy, and we do, you know, everything from charades to, last year we did a fun one. We try and do just weird, bizarre things, but I took pictures of everyone who's there. There's about 13, 14 people that spent Christmas at our place in Vegas, and I took baby pictures from all of them. They all sent them, and I incorporated those baby pictures into a game where people had to guess who the baby was, and
love it.
And it was hilarious. Everyone was laughing. I had to sort of mix it up a little because there was only one Asian baby in all of it, so I changed
a little
it
easy to guess.
Yeah, I had to be creative to sort of mix things up a little bit, but no, we have a blast, and the holidays for me are all about laughter and friends and family.
Now, what about the stress though of giving a gift? Now, you know, when you have a family get together, whether it's, you know, everyone does a stocking or you give one small gift to each person, do you find that that's another way that people stress themselves out?
It does stress people out, and one way to get around that is to do the Christmas gift game. So in lieu of bringing a gift for people, you do this like $10 gift, and everyone wraps it, and you play a game with it. And you can draw numbers and stuff, or whatever. You figure out who goes first, and you go around and open a gift, and people can steal it, and it makes it a lot of fun. And it's not about the gift, right? Like,
because I did that last year, and I used the shaker weight. That was my gift, and we had fun with that.
You know, that is a gift that has been enjoyed by perverts all over the world. So,
you know, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I just like spending time with my family. So regardless of what we're doing, that's the important part. And, you know, that's the way you have a good holiday, and stress-free. Just enjoy your family.
Yeah. Don't forget to send us your holiday ideas, everybody, because I want to hear, you know, the interesting gifts that you have given each other. I want to hear the interesting stories. You can hit us up on social media. I'm at Mr. Silver Scott. JD's at Mr. JD Scott. And Drew is at Mr. Drew Scott. Also check us out at thescottbrothers.com. And thank you, Tina, for your ideas. I think we're probably going to come over to your place because it sounds like the funnest place to be at Christmas.
I thank you guys so much.
You're listening to Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
You're listening to Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
Back for one last time today on Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. I'm Jonathan.
I'm JD.
And I'm Drew, and we're going to wrap it up today talking about SAD.
Why so sad?
SAD is short for seasonal affective disorder. It's a type of depression that occurs in the late autumn and winter when the days get shorter, you have less sun. It's one of the most depressing times of the year.
But there are all kinds of ways to combat SAD. I got to say, though, I'm a little frustrated with this because it seems to me like people are labeling everything. So what do you call it when it's not autumn, winter sadness? What do you call it when it's like summer sadness?
Hanging around.
Well, it's still
sadness.
a season, right? Isn't it?
It's well, you can admit, we grew up in Vancouver where it rains 8 or 9 months of the year. It does get a little bit depressing. That's why people buy light boxes and stuff like that.
I don't know if you remember, but people in the winter would sometimes wear those glasses that had a light on them and it shines into your eyes.
And then you look like an idiot. Then you get an idiot disorder. But okay, then what can you do aside from?
I will never hire Drew as my therapist.
Aside from glasses and a light box, what can you do to battle this autumn and winter depression?
Well, you can do what Jonathan and I did and move to the U.S.
Yeah, I just moved to Vegas where we don't get. What's this rain and snow thing?
It took me a couple of years to catch up.
No, you know what? That didn't work actually, because so I moved to Vegas to be like 6 years ago, and it was December when I moved there. Very first week I was in Vegas, I thought this is great, no longer having to fight snow and cold. I was living in Calgary at the time, and that is the week that they got the worst snowstorm in 50 years.
And it was funny
Vegas.
because Jonathan was calling back and calling friends in Calgary and laughing at them saying, "Suckers, I'm not going to see any more snow." And then he got it in Vegas.
Because I'm known for calling people suckers.
Yeah,
that's his catchphrase.
It was. Now, granted, the snow there, it was like an inch and they shut down the entire city. People were dancing in the streets and stuff.
But when you lived in Calgary, both of you guys, when you lived in Calgary and when you were in Vancouver over the winter months, it's really rainy, did you find it depressing?
I didn't get depressed, but I definitely found it frustrating.
Yeah, I did. I found I just felt like, I was like, ho hum.
Well, when you go for like
you don't say sucka, but you say ho hum.
8 months without seeing the sun, like that's a bit much.
It's a bit frustrating, and I actually do feel more alive when it's a nice sunny day. Actually, Calgary wasn't as bad because even though it got cold, it was still sunny almost every day.
True.
Yeah. Well, so what are the things they say you can do to cheer yourself up? Like for myself, if it's a cold day, I don't drink coffee, but I like hot chocolate or like green tea or something like that.
Warms your belly. I mean, I'm a big gym junkie, so for me, exercise, it really helps keep you feeling energetic.
You can be kind to yourself.
What does that mean?
Affirmations in the mirror.
I was going to say,
people like you.
Stop talking about masturbation.
Masturbation is a good way to solve it.
Makes many people happy on a dull day, but you can talk to a therapist about it if you really want.
Just get good sleep. That's the big thing. I love about the winter when you just have, a good sleep and you wake up in the morning and you're, under your cover and stuff like that. That's what I think you just need to get.
You say
good
that
sleep.
Like that's so easy.
For me,
for some of us, it is.
I can sleep. In fact, I'm sleeping right now at this table. Well, this is something too. If you're in a dull routine, a monotonous routine with work and whatever you're doing, and then you're feeling a little down with the weather, you can also just try and do things that are fun for you. I mean, if it's volunteering, if it's something different, like getting out there and playing sports, or if it's hanging out with a friend you haven't seen in a while, that can give you a spike in energy.
They say that intelligent conversation is a fantastic way to tease your brain and get out of a mood and
be good at that.
Well, and we talked about that in a past show. They say seeing your friends. If you see your friends on a semi-regular basis, you'll be a lot happier.
What if you don't have any friends?
Then you are screwed.
That is a whole different reason for being depressed. Yeah, you need to make an effort. I know some people that like to sort of shut themselves in over the winter. They just don't go out. They don't do anything.
Are they bears?
Yes, they're hibernating. Human hibernation. But no, it's true. You have to make an effort to get out there. And, whether somebody is suffering depression because of a breakup and they sort of shut themselves off, or whether it's because of, it being around the holidays and, they don't like seeing people because they don't like that time of the holiday, you have to make an effort.
Well, you do have to make an effort. And actually, that's one of my things. I'm a very positive person. We're all three of us are very positive people. If I'm getting down because of something that's happened, I automatically catch that and I put myself in a positive mood. So you can always just try what I always say. If you're feeling sad, just don't be sad.
Yeah, you're.
I need to get that chip installed. Switch off.
Works for me.
My programming isn't the same.
Yeah, you've got an upgraded operating system. No, I think there's a lot that you can do. I love trying a new restaurant. I love just trying something different, something that's a little bit of an adventure, whether it's going to an area that I've never gone before. We're filming on the road. I'm in Atlanta right now. I've spent some of these rainy days just going somewhere where I can spend it inside. So I went to the Coke Museum one day, which was pretty cool.
Well, actually, and I did the same for the aquarium, and then I was at the Botanical Gardens. But they have, when you're in the gardens, there are a lot of areas that you can run around and enjoy where you're out of the elements.
Yeah. Lots to do.
Another thing you could do, which keep in mind, go on holidays. Go on vacation somewhere.
Somewhere hot.
Go to a nice beach.
Oh, we don't all get as many vacation days as you do.
Take some of your 30 days.
Yeah. I think, the other thing you could flip around and say is, what's the problem with, if it's a rainy day, just going out in the rain? Everyone's so afraid to get wet or do something. It's not the worst thing in the world. I remember a very happy dancing individual who liked singing in the rain.
Singing in the rain.
I do not like getting wet. That is probably the worst thing in the world.
Why?
Well, it's
because you wear leather pants and...
I wear tight pants.
Well, I'm with JD. I mean, cold water as well. People always say, oh, did you go out to the lake? No, it's February in Canada. Why would I go to the lake? It's freezing. But if it's warm Caribbean water, I don't mind. So if it was a warm Caribbean rainfall, then I'm all up for it.
But the worst was the other day. It was really cold, and I was coming into the house, and a drop went right down my back of my neck and down my back. I'm like, oh.
That's why you need to grow your winter mullet. Duh.
That's why Jonathan's hair is the way it is.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of options. I guess JD's is going to be to grow a mullet. Drew, yours is going to be just to not be sad. I'm going to have to work on mine. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully you're not experiencing sad, especially listening to us. But if you are, just remember, spring is only 4 months away.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Off Topic with the Scott Brothers. Next week, we're going to delve into the fist-bumping manifesto. Can we actually lessen the transmission of infection through a fist bump rather than a handshake?
And we'll also talk to Sharon Vinderine, founder of Parent Tested, Parent Approved, about how to be fiscal responsible this holiday season. Fiscally. I like to make it my own.
And don't forget, we love when you hit us up on our social media with thoughts and questions. I'm at Mr. JD Scott. Drew is at Mr. Drew Scott. And Jonathan is at Mr. Silver Scott. We'll chat again next week with more Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network.
Fist bumps, brothers.
Bam.
Boom. I didn't get infected.
You've been listening to Off Topic with the Scott Brothers on the Corus Radio Network. Want more of the Scotts? Check them out on TV. Catch the Property Brothers and Buying and Selling on W, a Corus Entertainment company.